Let's get to fundamentals then. Ashwini Agarwal, founder and partner at Demeter Advisors, is with us. Ashwini, good morning. Great to have you on the show. We're in an interesting market. Indices trying to hold on to these near all-time high levels, which is 500 points shy of that 20,000 mark on the Nifty. But there's a lot of chatter on the horizon. Global issues, US banks, China data. We're running into a policy. What do you make of all this? And is the construct for a continuation of the up move? Or would you say that, probably it's time to consolidate a bit?
So, we should think about it. We've had a very sustained run from the end of March. It's almost 3.5 months long, which is very long as a minor bull cycle goes, and we haven't had any meaningful correction during this period. The narrative has significantly changed in India's favor in the global context, which has obviously attracted a lot of foreign capital. But at the same time, if you think about the fundamentals, the earnings direction has kind of either kept pace or in some places fallen short of expectations. Even if you look at the June quarter results that have been released till now, I fail to find too many spots outside of banks and financials where there have been meaningful positive surprises from the underlying expectations. As you point out, that the global narrative is starting to get a little more iffy, and with valuations having become stretched and the earnings environment not delivering that many positive surprises, I would venture to think that we are in for a reasonable correction. Now, whether it will be a time correction or whether it will be a deeper one-step correction, only we'll find out. And it will be driven by an event that we can't forecast. But I think the fuel for a rally to 21,000 or something along those lines, or 2,500, it's not there. It's not there, at least in my mind.
Ashwini, why? I thought pharma numbers look quite good, right? Whether it's Sun Pharma, Mankind Pharma, Gland Pharma, of course, the kind of re-rating it's seen in the last 2 days. You've been bullish about pharma. I remember in a previous conversation, you had spoken about how you would tactically allocate some money to pharma. Your thoughts on the pharma numbers, and have you topped up your exposure given the positive surprise?
So Rima, you're dead right. Okay, and I was kicking myself for not having bought as much pharma as I should have. It's the single largest exposure that I have in terms of a sector exposure. But there's nothing like hindsight to tell you that one should have owned more. I've been quite positive on pharma for a long time, for about 1.5 years or so, and it's been painful going for a lot of that period. But it's very heartening to see, the kind of earnings flow, fundamental information that's coming through about pricing environment in the US and so on and so forth, in the midst of valuations which have been actually quite attractive across the board. So I continue to feel fairly positive about pharma, and you're right, the earnings flow in pharma as a sector has also been on the positive side. Compared to what the expectations were. Gland Pharma, which is something that I own, hasn't done anything spectacular in the June quarter, but the expectations were so muted and so beaten down that the market's reaction to those numbers has been astounding. We must remember that, the stock had actually been offered to the public at 1,490 almost 3 years ago. Went up to 4,000, came down to 1,000, which is a steep fall. So I think somewhere pharma is a situation where earnings are fine, in line with expectations, slightly ahead, but I think the market sentiment was too beaten down, and it's the correction in the market sentiment which is leading to these very sharp rallies in some instances.
Just to get that point clear, pharma is your single biggest sectoral exposure currently?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, so more than banks, more than any other, manufacturing is a big theme.
That's correct.
Okay, interesting.
Hi Ashwini, good morning. Good on you that you got that pharma call right. Must be feeling good, right? I mean, Gland Pharma, the stock in May. If I just take a look at the low then and the high today, it's doubled. So, you would have been somewhere in that vicinity. So good on you. But I was more concerned about your starting comments that maybe, in fact, we are in for a correction, a price or a time-wise correction. Time-wise, I think, that's fine. But price-wise, what would be your best guesstimate? I mean, in terms of, since most of the positives have played out and we're running a little bit less on the, on fuel to take us to 21,500 odd. So what would be your guesstimate? I mean, could we see a 5%
I have
correction?
no idea.
That would be par for the
Nigel,
course?
Nigel, I have no idea. I wish I could tell market direction as accurately as you believe I may be able to. And if it was the case, I could make fortunes. But I have no idea. I can only tell you that, look, the fuel doesn't seem to be there in the tank anymore for the market to take Nifty to 21,000 or 20,500. Because in terms of fuel, what we need are either a beaten down sentiment, what we are seeing, fuel the pharma rally, for instance, or you need, a significant earnings momentum, which is way ahead of expectations. We are not seeing that. Or you need a significant underweight in the asset category on part of one investor base. None of it is there. So how can we expect a huge rally? So if we can't expect a rally, we should expect a decline is my simple logic.
Okay, all right, Ashwini, we appreciate you joining in, and maybe we could be in for a bit of a corrective or maybe a consolidative phase. Appreciate you joining in and giving us those views, and take care. I believe you're down with a bit of a throat infection, so please take care of yourself.